I love Garten of Banban. Even if it started as a low-quality cash grab, I'd say every game improved more and more as it went along. Whether it be from the overall gameplay, voice acting, or story, each installment would bring something new to the table, and more often than not, it was a genuine improvement over the last. You know what else I love? Schaffrillas Productions. Well, he's more of a who than a what, but like, still. He makes a lot of ranking videos, some of which are of some of the weirdest shit imaginable, but that's what I love his channel for. And if it wasn't obvious enough, he inspired a lot of my channel and my editing style. Anyway, back to the ranking videos. I did want to rank every Garten of Banban game, but as I've explained earlier, every Banban game just got better and better, and the list would have just been, boom, the first is the worst, and the 8th is the best, and the 3rd is peak fiction. That would have been really boring. But here's where Shafe comes in yet again, with 2 of my favorite ranking videos from him. Every Star Wars movie ranked by its C-3PO usage, and likewise for R2-D2. These were so stupid, but so funny and genuinely kind of informative. And yeah, they inspired this video. I also want to give a shout out to Odyssey Central, who did this, but with dry bones in every mainline Mario game, though it didn't include the spin-offs, which I thought was kinda lame. I still recommend checking it out though, but because of that, I'm not just ranking the mainline Banban games, but the spin-offs as well. And that includes Banban Punch Rush, the Roblox RP, and Missing Banban. Also no, Banban Isle Rangers doesn't count for this list because only the demo is out and not the full game, so I don't know how well represented Opila will be until, you know, the full game is out, so yeah, don't even bother asking me about it. Now let's get into the I just realized I haven't talked about the bird yet. I'll keep this brief, this intro is too long. I like birds. Opila Bird, ha, funny, bird up. She's the only character besides Jumbo Josh to physically appear in every chapter, so she's eligible for this list. She has a pretty wide range of roles, and I'll also be counting roles from Tartar Bird, the Opila Chicks, and any other bird-related stuff, so let's get right into it.
Hey Red, how are you?
Oh, I'm horrible.
Garten of Banban VIII Anti-Devil sucks! If you only look at it from the lens of an Opila Bird aficionado, otherwise it's like the second best game in the series, but damn it, its underrepresentation of our goddess Opila Bird is disrespectful. Literally, her only appearances are a brief bit in Syringen's prison, and of course, one of Stinger Flynn's iconic dream sequences. But in both of these brief sequences, she kinda, sorta does fuck all. Even in the dream sequence, she's just sleeping. Like, girl, you're about to get executed because one of your friends thought he could take on the IRS. Why are you sleeping? Well, obviously, a godlike being like Opila Bird laughs in the face of death, so she knows that Dadadu's primitive weaponry will do nothing to her. So instead of cowering, she catches up on some beauty sleep. And as much aura farming as she does because of that, still, she doesn't really get any time to herself in this installment. Instead, we have to spend time with characters like Flumbo and Banban and Syringen. I don't want to watch other people play these games for their stories, characters, or whatever. I'm here for one thing and one thing only, and this game failed me.
Oh yeah! And fill up your big cave with all your fancy things. That's it.
Even though Opila Bird's only role in Garten of Banban Zero is a keychain, I still think it's kinda cool since you get to carry her around for the whole game. Is what I would have said if her keychain wasn't found literally at the end of it. I know when you replay it, you get all the keychains in Flumbo's room, but like, still, come on, who's going to know that? On the bright side, you can still have a little Opila Bird keychain, so that's really neat. The reason this game gets to weasel its way past Anti-Devil is because, at least in Zero, Opila can somewhat have a continuous presence, unlike in Anti-Devil, where she's absent for most of it. Also, in this game's end credit sequence, Opila gets quite a bit of representation in the form of the stellar artwork by Gerald Grabowski. Not only is it all beautifully stylized, but Opila herself appears in a total of 10 bits of artwork. A whole 9 more than she got in Anti-Devils. It's crazy how a game that doesn't physically feature her represents her better than a game where she does physically appear. That's one of the many failings of Anti-Devil if you disregard the improved gameplay mechanics, visual glow-up, and great voice acting. Anyway, yeah, after these two duds, we're finally getting into the good games, the one where they actually feature Opila Bird in meaningful ways.
This cake is on you!
What's better than an Opila Bird keychain? Getting to play as her in Garten of Banban Punch Rush. I do not have her in Garten of Banban Punch Rush, but you can blame the gacha mechanic for that. I'm not sure what else to say, you can just punch things with her. So when you unlock a new character, they pop out of an egg, which were the things that were shoved down Opila's throat in the first game. That's gotta count for something.
When I was a lad, I ate 4 dozen eggs every morning to help me get large.
Speaking of the gacha mechanic, I really hope you're ready to grind for hours on end to get 50 tokens to gamble on the claw machine. It's like Crossy Roads all over again.
Now I'm thinking maybe it's a little bit more subtle, like a little bit just more majestic, like...
To me, Garten of Banban VI was kind of a weird, somewhat forgettable installment, which I know sounds crazy because arguably some of the most important beats of the story happened here, but I feel like I remember this game more for its brief great moments rather than as an actual complete package. It's kinda less than the sum of its parts, you know? I think that's because it's only the story beats that I remember this game for, rather than anything new this installment brought to the characters. I mention all this because I think it's more interesting than Opila Bird's role in this game, where she and Tarda get notified off-screen, and then show up briefly at the very end of it as part of Dadadu's army. I will give it this though. I mentioned that other bird-related stuff will qualify towards Opila's overall presence, and wouldn't you know it, in this game we get a boss fight that's based off Opila Bird. It's Littlebeak after she got dropped in that Givanium vat and mutated. We drop into this boss room and find Banban trying to incapacitate Littlebeak and revert her back to normal. So we use these batteries and electrocute her, which, I don't know, I guess sucks out all the Givanium and turns her back to normal. And she just kinda leaves after that. The weird thing is, we never see her again. To this day, we still don't know what happened to her after this. Where is Littlebeak?
Is she safe? Is she alright?
I just realized I forgot to mention that she was in that Stinger Flynn vision, but can you blame me for forgetting she was asleep the whole damn time? Again, seriously, Banban, you think we're the sleepy fellows? Garten of Banban III is quite the tough act to follow, being one of humanity's greatest achievements, so I don't think it's fair to expect that same level of quality for the fourth game. So I find this game's lack of Opila Bird to be somewhat understandable, plus we do get some good representation from her. For one, this entry gave Littlebeak her name. We love Littlebeak, and she actually has a more prominent role in this game than her mother. I actually forgot about that, but it did help boost this game a little further up in the ranking. But what is Opila Bird herself doing? Well, a bit like the sixth game, she got captured off-screen and placed into containment by Sheriff Toadster. But at least in this one, we get an entry for her and Tarda in the Toadster archives. Oh, and also she's in the Stinger Flynn sequence, but she's sleeping again. Overall, this is a pretty forgettable installment in the Opila saga. Let's move on.
Congratulations! Huh? It's a boy!
Right off the bat, Garten of Banban 2 gets bonus points because it introduced the Opila chicks. Yeah, these are absolutely adorable. They're just little beans. I love them. Hell, in Gerald Grabowski's art of some of them in the credits, he somehow managed to make them look even more like beans by having some of them cross-eyed. Anyway, in this installment of the Opila saga, we find Opila Bird after she gets dropped into the ball pit, and she now has some bruise marks. Say what you will about the quality of these games, but in some areas, there is some very nice attention to detail when it comes to the continuity. So we get a brief chase before we're saved by Banbalina, then we do this convoluted puzzle to avoid Opila's fury, and that's about it. Though, I guess we do see her own door, so that's pretty neat. I only just realized this little detail while editing, but the door we take to escape Banbalina and Jumbo Josh is Opila's. Some might call it a stretch, but I'd say it's further proof that Opila Bird is truly just built different.
Chicken jockey!
Garten of Banban 3 needs no introduction. It's peak cinema, we all know it's peak cinema, and that extends to our glorious Queen Opila Bird. First things first, this is the game that introduced Tarda Bird, Opila's husband. Tarda doesn't even know how lucky it is. That bird has it all, and what does he do? I don't know, probably bird things. Anyway, the reason this game is all the way up here is obviously because of the ending, where we become the funny jockey from Minecraft, and get this awesome chase with Hellish Banban. Even if we don't meet ride Opila, this chase/puzzle is really clever and is the highlight for us Opila stans. Even if it isn't the biggest role, the fact that we get to ride a bird at all in this game brought it up much higher in the list than it might deserve. But we end the game with Littlebeak by our side, so really what more could you ask for? I expect nothing less from humanity's greatest achievement. Something I forgot to mention was that Opila Bird is indeed in the Stinger Flynn vision, and she's not sleeping this time.
Laserbeak, you tinfoil turkey.
Garten of Banban VII has Trojan Tarda. I feel like I could stop there, but I have more to say. Opila actually has a pretty neat role in this game as a supporting antagonist. As mentioned just now, she and Tarda get their own segment called Trojan Tarda. Not only is that a funny Epic the Musical reference, but there's also a really funny part when they chase us. After we run from them, we actually lock them inside the theater, and I'm only presuming here, with a bunch of Givanium citizens trapped in there with them, essentially leaving them to die. Other than that, we also see her in some posters by Brashista, and she's part of Banbalina's exam. But of course, I can't talk about this game without discussing the incredible final fight with Jumbo Josh against Dadadu's army, in which he goes toe-to-toe with a notified Opila Bird. We've encountered this force of nature before. She is more powerful than ever with the help of the notified infection. Jumbo Josh may only just be worthy enough of an opponent for this unrelenting beast. Absolute cinema. It wasn't easy, but Jumbo Josh came out on top. We saw how easily he disposed of Kitasaurus, Nabnalina, Tamataki and Kamataki, even Sir Dadadu. But clearly, the one who was carrying the army was Opila Bird. And we see her and Tarda in the end where they're getting rest. Obviously, Opila's back must hurt from carrying this entire franchise. Something I completely forgot to mention is that Opila Bird is in this Stinger Flynn vision. However, instead of just sleeping, when Banban acts out, she actually steps in to defend Stinger Flynn. This bird was fully ready to square up against a fucking demon. She showed no fear because she knows no fear. That is how awesome she is. She aura farmed so much from this, and I am disgraced that I didn't mention this initially. So yeah, this game definitely gets bonus points for that.
Welcome, Laserbeak. Unlike some of my other warriors, you never fail me.
Missing Banban is the best game in the Garten of Banban franchise. Unless you consider it from an Opila Pill perspective, then it's only like a pretty good game. Anyway, what's Opila's role this time around? Well, she starts as Nabnab's assistant, but after some manipulations from Bittergiggle, she turns on him and establishes her own Opila Empire. So we get another boss fight, except this time it's actually Opila using her children as soldiers and bombs. It's a pretty challenging fight, and I had to damage boost a lot, and the parts where I couldn't, I ended up dying. But afterwards, we make up with her, and she actually helps us in the final battle. I also love this scene. And it gets better. She shows up in the Stinger Flynn sequence. This game had a lot more Opila Bird than I remembered, but I was so pleasantly surprised my queen got this much love in what is, let's be honest, the best game to come out of this franchise. Aside from Banban 3.
Have you ever stolen anyone's children? Huh? Have you? I mean, you look like you would.
What's better than meat riding Opila or fighting her as a boss? Getting to play as her! Like, actually getting to play as her without that stupid-ass gacha mechanic. Yeah, you have to use Robux to unlock the skins, but you can still play as Opila herself, and that's all I need in life. Speaking of skins, this game has a total of 17 alternate costumes for Opila that the wiki listed. So here's a mini ranking of all of them. This is just based on how good I think they look. The Opila Patriot is just really ugly. I guess I kinda get what they were going for with the red, white, and blue, but the way these colors are washed just makes it look like Opila got jizzed on by Uncle Sam. Also, as a side tangent, it was such a missed opportunity to give Sheriff Toadster a Patriot skin as well, since, you know, he's American. Yeah, he would have looked like shit, but the theme would have fit him. Okay, so, Opila is verified on Twitter now, I guess.
Can't you see I have blue check mark next to my name? That makes me a very important person, and you should pay attention to me!
My bias against Twitter aside, this skin just looks ridiculous with the check marks all over her. Maybe that's on account of how dumb the check marks look in general, and also it's Twitter.
Please, do the right thing. I am a very important person. See the blue check mark?
Next, we have Glitter Opila Bird. Where's the glitter, Jewel Games? At the very least, this one isn't ugly, it just fails at a glitter skin because it doesn't fucking glitter. I don't really like the party skin. The confetti all around the texture is just kind of weird and kind of ugly, but at least there are still signs of the Opila Bird we all know and love. The sunset one is one of the ones I missed, so I'm recording this while I'm editing. That's why I sound a bit deader inside right now. Anyway, this one sure does exist. I just don't really know what they were going for with this. The neon skin is a pretty okay one. Nothing crazy, but nothing horrible. I like the shiny blue for the diamond, but that's really all this skin has going for it, and there's a better shiny Pokemon later in the list. Damn, I didn't know Opila Bird was invited to the cock. I really like the texture of the skin and how shiny it is. I do think the other members of Cock, like the Mechanic or Asphera, pull off the look a bit better, but Opila Bird is easily up there in terms of the Cock. This could have been where the glitter skin ranked if it fucking glittered. It's Opila Bird, but huge. This is so stupid. I love it. This is just the nodified design from the main series. The glowing purple eyes are cool, but otherwise this skin is just a gray blob. Maybe it would have been cooler if the beak glowed as well. Ah, the classic Opila Bird from Garten of Banban I. How can anyone not like this? It's plain, sure, but dare I say, we would not have the Garten of Banban we have today if it weren't for this beauty. I think because of how iconic it is, it deserves the very middle of this list. It's the classic, but with the scars from the second game. As I said before, say what you will about the quality of these games, but you gotta respect the attention to detail when it comes to the continuity. What if Opila died and didn't come back, but as a ghost? I just really love the glowing effects on this skin. Opila has a party hat. Need I elaborate? I don't know what it is about the euphoric skin, but I think it has a simple charm to it, and Opila just looks really neat with his color scheme. You could say, it's so euphoric, bruh. I don't know if I exactly see Galaxy in this, but come on, you can't argue with a black and purple color scheme, especially when it glows. This skin also appeared in the Mario Galaxy movie, but that shouldn't be a surprise since literally every video game character was in that fuck-ass piece of shit.
Okay, I guess that's art, that's garbage, and that's exotic.
I don't know what it is about the exotic skin, but I just really love the glowing blue contrasting with the black and the stars around her. It's really cool. Though I think this one would have fit the Galaxy title better, while the Galaxy one would fit the exotic title better. This is just Opila Bird, but with MLG sunglasses. This might just be the best thing to come out of any video game ever. It's a golden Opila Bird. Literally, what more could you ask for? And finally, the best Opila skin, in my opinion, is the Shadow Opila. The main reason she's up here is because it's a reference to Shadow Bonnie, but it's still a cool reference with an eerie color scheme. And I like crossovers. So yeah, I think it's fair to put the Roblox RP in second. Not only because you get to play as Opila, but she also gets a wide variety of skins you can play as, if you're willing to fork over the Robux or grind for hours.
Jerry, you are my favorite.
And finally, number 1, I don't think there was any doubt, Garten of Banban. The original is the best game in the series. In terms of Opila, not just because she's basically the main antagonist, but she also had to set the standard for the rest of the series, which, whether you think that was good or not, you gotta admit, such a feat is nothing to sneeze at. But genuinely, this game alone showcases so much of Opila's predatory personality, which is something the Euphoric brothers were actually going for, if the devlog is anything to go by. Oh yeah, side note, Opila is the only character to get her own devlog video, mostly because they were replaced with the Secrets of Banban series, but this was the original and far superior because it was about Opila. Anyway, she looms over you for the entire game, from when she glares at you from around a corner, only to disguise herself as just another playground prop. I don't know if this was intentional, but this alone displays a keen ability to deceive her prey and lure them into a false sense of security.
And now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs.
And then she gets thrown into a pit. Despite being the shortest game in the series, this one utilized Opila the best given its short time. There may be a lot of bias here, but for basically being the game for Opila Bird, I think Garten of Banban 1 deserves to take the crown jewel as the best game in the Garten of Banban franchise. So that was my ranking of every Garten of Banban game by its Opila Bird usage. This video was really stupid, but also really fun, and if it does well enough, I will definitely do one for Jumbo Josh, since he's the only other character to physically appear in every game. At least in the mainline series, of course. Though I honestly could do one for all 6 of the main mascots, since technically their mural depictions also count them as appearing. I mean, if I'm going to include the keychain in Garten of Banban 0, I guess anything is on the table at this point. For the other 4 mascots, it might be a bit boring of a first bit of the ranking, since I'll just be talking about their murals, kind of like a situation for Schaffrillas' R2-D2 ranking. But hey, that'll just give me an excuse to talk about Garten of Banban more. Hell, if I really want to stretch it, I could even make some for the 2 characters like Toadster, Nabnab, or Celine. And if I really squint my eyes, I could maybe find a way to make one for Bitter Giggle. But I can't make one for Syringa no matter how I slice it. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. One more thing before I go, though. I figured I'd pull one more Schaffrillas move and make an obscure media recommendation at the end here. But instead of a movie, I'll recommend an obscure game, because I know how annoying it is that a poorly made mascot horror game took off purely because of the hate, while games with quality are obscured as a result. Out of Sight is an incredible game by the Gang Studios. It follows this little blind girl named Sophie as she navigates this manor with the help of her teddy bear, which she manages to see through. It expertly switches between first and third person, making for some insanely creative obstacles and puzzles. And it's even incorporated into some of the chases. The mechanic can be a bit disorienting sometimes, but more often than not, it works beautifully. It is fairly light on the monster department because there aren't really any monsters aside from these mysterious shadow children who thankfully don't actually hurt us. But we do have Mother Jana, the main antagonist, and the lady of the manor, and Clayton, the secondary antagonist who is the butler who built this place. This game actually manages to do a lot with a little in terms of its antagonists, but the standout character here has got to be the main protagonist herself, Sophie. Her voice actor, Lily Turnbull, absolutely steals the show with how perfect she displays the pure terror in this poor child. The story itself is also incredibly interesting. Without spoiling too much, I will say the lore is told so compellingly, and I desperately want to know more about the world of this game. In fact, it even got a sequel, Out of Sight, Stage Fright. I haven't played it yet, but I definitely plan to, because I don't know how Clayton is back. Out of Sight absolutely deserves more attention, and you know a fandom is small when even you have more subscribers than its official channel. Hey, this is Editing Watt Tambor Enjoyer here. The Gang Studios just released a teaser trailer for this new game they're making, called Sitting Ducks. It looks really cool. I don't know if I can get it because I only have a Nintendo Switch, but I don't know, it looks kind of cool. I just figured I'd mention it now. Yeah, not much else to say. Go check out Sitting Ducks if you like sitting on ducks. Okay, bye. So yeah, go support Out of Sight and the Gang Studios. I promise you will not regret it. And if we're being honest, it deserves just as much attention as Banban got. Anyway, that's all. See you next year, or whenever I make another long-form video like this. Or check out my Mall Shadowlord videos, because I really like Mall Shadowlord. Good night, Sid Engine!